Okay. Okay. So I'm back. So yeah, let's take. So everybody can fold your hands and repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please Ekadashi, so everybody can chant the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everybody can unmute and repeat after me.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Tado Jayamudhiraye
Tato Jayamudhirate
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya
Bhagavadi Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttamastoke
Bhaktir Bhavadi Naishtigim.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtukim.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse number 5. Tattvam Rajastama Idi. Please repeat after.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti.
Tattvam Rajastama Idi.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti.
Rajastamiti
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha.
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha
Nibadhandi Mahabaho.
Nibanti Mahabaho
Dehi Dehi Namavyayam.
Dehinam
Avyayam.
Sattvam Rajastama Idi.
Sattvam
Sattvam
Rajastama
Rajastama Iti
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha.
Guna
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha
Nibadhandi Mahabaho.
Nibanti Mahabaho
Dehi Dehi Namavyayam.
Dehinam Avyayam
Sattvam Rajastama Idi.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha.
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha
Nibadhandi Mahabaho.
Nibanti Mahabaho
Dehi Dehi Namavyayam.
Dehinam Avyayam.
Please recite, devotees.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti.
Sattvam Rajastama Idi.
Guna Prakriti Sambhava.
Guna
Guna
Prakriti
Prakriti
Sambhava.
Sambhavaha
Nidabhananti Mahabaho.
Nibadhandi Mahabaho.
Mahabaho
Dehi Dehinam Avyayam.
Dehe Dehi Namavyayam.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti.
Sattvam
Sattvam
Rajastama
Rajastama Iti
Guna Prakriti Sambhava
Guna
Guna
Prakriti
Prakriti
Sambhava.
Sambhava
Nibadhanti Mahabaho
Nibadhanti
Nibanti
Mahabaho.
Mahabaho
Dehe Dehinam Avyayam
Dehe Dehi Namavyayam.
Avyayam.
Please recite.
Sattvam Rajastama Iti
Sattvam Rajastama Idi.
Guna Prakriti Sambhava
Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha.
Nibanti Mahabaho
Nibadhandi Mahabaho.
Dehe Dehinam Avyayam.
Dehe Dehi Namavyayam. Anybody else?
Sattvam Rajastama Iti.
Sattvam rajastama idi.
Guna prakriti sambhava.
Guna prakriti sambhavaha.
Nibadnanti mahabhavo.
Nibadnanti mahabhaho.
Dehe dehinam avyayam.
Dehe dehinam avyayam. Anybody else? Rajesh Prabhu, Sandeep Prabhu, right? Okay. We'll go word by word meaning. Synonyms. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Raja, the mode of passion. Tama, the mode of ignorance. Idi, thus. Guna, the qualities. Prakriti, material nature. Sambhava, produced of. Nibadnanti, do condition. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Dehe, in this body. Dehinam, the living entity. Avyayam, eternal. So please repeat after me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation, please repeat after me. Material nature consists of three modes.
Material nature consists of three modes:
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
goodness, passion, and ignorance.
When the eternal living entity comes in contact with the nature,
when the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature,
O mighty armed Arjuna,
O mighty armed Arjuna,
he becomes conditioned by these modes.
He becomes conditioned by these modes.
Perfect. The living entity, because he is transcendental, has nothing to do with this material nature. Still, because he has become conditioned by the material world, he is acting under the spell of three modes of material nature. Because living entities have different kinds of bodies in terms of the different aspects of nature, they are induced to act according to that nature. This is the cause of the varieties of happiness and distress. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthavidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yudapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Sri Vishaghanidamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Vavadu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidastu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining today. It's a very auspicious day today, especially. Today is called Parshva Ekadashi or Parivartini Ekadashi or Vijaya Ekadashi and Vamana Ekadashi. So there are different names according to the different places and how do they observe. We know that we are going through this Chaturmasa. Chaturmasa is considered, it's a very auspicious to perform devotional service. And this is mentioned in Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it is mentioned that Chaturmasa is very auspicious to perform devotional service. And the sun goes to the Dakshinayana, or this is the night time for the Devadas. And also the Supreme Lord enters into the Yoga Nidra. That's where we started with the Shayana Ekadashi. The Chaturmasa started with the Shayana Ekadashi. On that, the time the Lord goes into the Yoga Nidra and try to take a sleep, in a transcendental sleep. It's difficult to understand. When we say sleep, we always compare with our sleep, but it's not like that. Transcendental sleep is actually Lord is meditating upon the devotional or devotees of the of the Supreme Lord. Here on this Parshva, that's called Parshva or Parivartini. That means Lord moves from the left side to right side. That is called Parshva. Or Parivartini. That means moving from one side to another side. Because of during this Chaturmasa, and also it's very auspicious, and month September, October, and month is known as Rishikesh. And also this is Bhadrapada. Bhadrapada is also one of the very auspicious month in the Vedic calendar, because of one can, so many things happens on this, particularly this month. Srimad Bhagavatam appears on this month of Purnima, that's called Bhadra Purnima. And Lord actually moves from one side to another. And Lord Vamanadev appears on this month, Bhadrapada, and on the Dwadashi. And also this Ekadashi is known as Vamana Ekadashi. And it is mentioned that in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, one who understand or realize or hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord Vamanadev, and he will attain the abode of the Supreme Lord. So it's very, very important that we hear the pastime of the Supreme Lord on this auspicious Ekadashi, so we all can endure and meditate upon the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. That's why it's also known as Vamana Ekadashi. So we all know that on Treta Yuga, the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, known as Bali Maharaj. Even though Bali Maharaj took birth in the demoniac family, or that's called Daityas, the family of Daityas. So Daityaraj, Bali Maharaj was known as Daityaraj. And Bali Maharaj was very pious, very devotional. He is doing worship of the Supreme Lord. He is doing the sacrifices to the Supreme Lord, Bali Maharaj. Very devotional, even though in the demoniac family, but the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj's son was Virojana, and Virojana's son was Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj was very pious and very devotional, and always do the charity to the Brahmins, perform sacrifices to the Supreme Lord, and devotion, always worship the Supreme Lord. Lord wanted to also reciprocate in such a way that that's why Lord comes down, the first and the foremost of the Lord's coming down or descent, avatar or descent from that spiritual world to the material realm, is primarily to reciprocate the devotee's desires and the wishes and interact with him and grants the boon, grant the eternity to that devotee, because of when Lord places that devotional services. And that's why all we can see that. In so many examples we can see in this Srimad Bhagavatam. By the mercy of devotee or the devotional services, the Lord places. That's why he is known as Bhakta Valsala, the Supreme Lord. He always pleases by the devotional service, either through the mercy of his devotees. When the devotees mercy, shower the mercy to that anybody, the Lord places, Lord takes that as his own kartavya or responsibility. Take care of that devotee, that person. Lord showers the mercy directly. Kripa. Lord always showers the kripa, the mercy, to the devotees and his devotees' activities. So devotional service is very important, and becoming a devotee is very, very There is nothing that we can compare or unparalleled in this material world. Coming to a position of a devotee is nothing we can compare with anything else in this world. So Lord appears so that he can reciprocate with his devotees. At the same time, also adjust the adharma in this world as well. So Bali Maharaj had a conflict with Indradev. Bali Maharaj conquered the heavenly planetary systems. So now, since Bali Maharaj conquered and get rid of, and everybody is out of the heavenly planets, and Indra and the Devatas and all, now they are homeless. They don't have any more homes. So now Bali Maharaj got the Indrapad, or the throne of the heaven, and Bali Maharaj didn't satisfy with it. Bali Maharaj then further, with the advice of Shukracharya, was the family guru, Shukracharya, advice of Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj started to perform hundreds horse sacrifices. So when, as per the scripture, Vedas, if one who performs hundreds of horse sacrifices, it is mentioned that he will eternally become the king of heaven. And then nobody can defeat him. Nothing can change that stature. So Bali Maharaj was performing these sacrifices, and it came up to and reached up to the 99 sacrifices. Now, even Indra, all the demigods become so frightened because of they're homeless all these times. Now, even Indra became eternally that the kingship of the heaven, then where they will live, where they go. So they approached Devaguru Brihaspati, and Brihaspati's advice, they prayed to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, that please save us, please rescue us, we are homeless. So then Supreme Lord decided to come down to adjust the things. And Lord mentioned to the demigods that Indra, that I would appear as a dwarf form. So then they asked, the Bali Maharaj is a demoniac, great powerful king. How are you going to fight with Bali Maharaj? So Lord said, no worries, don't worry, I will adjust, I will take care of things. So please go back and then, focus on your daily things. So now this is the time the mother Aditi and Kashyapa. And Indra is also the son of Kashyapa Muni and Mother Aditi. Now also Mother Aditi had a desire to have a son of the Supreme Lord. And this was the Kashyapa and Aditi. This is the first, the Supreme Lord appeared as the son of the Mother Aditi. And this was a desire of Mother Aditi that the Supreme Lord takes birth as a son of Mother Aditi. So this time, the Supreme Lord took that as an opportunity and appeared before Mother Aditi as like a small dark boy. And then everybody understood that this is none other than the Supreme Lord. So all the demigods appeared before this dwarf boy. He is not more than like 3.5 feet. And everybody appeared before, and everybody started to give some gifts to Vamana Dev. And that's why he's called Vamana. Vamana means dwarf. And he's also known as Upendra. Upendra means the brother, younger brother of Indra, Upa Indra, or Nanda we call Upananda, means the younger brother of Nanda Maharaj, or we call Upananda. So like that, Indra Devi is known as Indra, and then Upa Indra is known as Vamana Dev. So that's another name of Lord Vamana Dev. So here, everybody came and gave lots of gifts to Vamana Dev, the Brahmana boy. And Indra gave a belt, and Agni gave a umbrella, and Shiva gave, I think, the Brahman thread, and things like that. So everybody gave and started to give this gift, and now Vamana Dev appeared. So the devotees, tomorrow is the appearance day of Lord Vamana Dev. Just meditate upon that appearance of Lord Vamana Dev. When Lord Vamanadeva appeared, is so effulgent, so beautiful, and the golden effulgence coming out from the body of Lord Vamanadeva. And everybody paid the obeisances to the Lord Vamanadeva. And now Lord Vamanadeva took the permission from his parents and started to go to the abode of the Bali Maharaj, where he was performing these whole sacrifices. So Bali Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. He always have respect for the Brahmins, and he always give charity to the Brahmins. So Lord Vamanadeva appeared before Bali Maharaj. As soon as Bali Maharaj saw this Brahman, this Vamanadeva, and he could understand that this is not an ordinary, this is a very Tvejasi, very effulgent Brahmana. So I should respect. So Bali Maharaj stopped everything and came forward to receive Vamanadeva. Vamanadeva was the effulgent Brahmana. The races are coming out from his body. And Bali Maharaj paid the obeisances to the Vamanadeva and requested, "Oh Brahmana, I'm so pleased, I'm so honored that you visited my abode, my place. What can I do for you? Ask me anything, I can give you." The Lord Vamanadeva, in a very small boy, in a voice, in that very, childish voice, talked to Bali Maharaj. "O Rajan, O king, you are so devoted. You are very pious. You are charitable. I can understand all this. I came before you to ask you something." Bali Maharaj said, "You can ask anything to me. I'm very honored, very fortunate that a Brahman Devada come in front of me, and I'm so honored, and I would try to give you as much as in my capacity." So Bali Maharaj, Vamanadeva requested to Bali Maharaj, "O Rajan, I need 3 steps of land. That's all I need." This was the Lord's, whenever Lord comes, is extraordinary. So Vamanadeva said, requested to Bali Maharaj, "O Rajan, I need only 3 steps of land. That's what is all I need." Bali Maharaj said, "That's all you need, my Lord, Brahman Devada. I can give you anything you want." Vamanadeva said, "No, I just need only 3 steps of land, nothing more." Bali Maharaj said, "So be it. You can request, you can take 3 steps of land as much as you want." So then this is the time, Srimad Bhagavad explains this appears of Vamanadeva, and very beautifully, very beautifully. And this is the time when you take a promise, usually as the Vedic style, the promise, you take water from the pot, and then you pour the water and you promise that I give 3 steps of land. That means it's witnessed by the water, this nature, and then nobody can change that. It's a promise which you make, that means that should be fulfilled. And if you don't fulfill that promise, then you go to a hellish planet. So here, Bali Maharaj was about to take the water from the pot. This time, Shukracharya understood that who is this, standing in front of Bali Maharaj. Shukracharya said, "This is none other than Supreme Lord Vishnu. You should not take this, and you cannot take this promise." The moment Bali Maharaj understood and heard that this is none other than the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Bali Maharaj was so jubilant, so pleased that the Supreme Lord came in front of me. Bali Maharaj took that as a honor, as a blessings. Bali Maharaj said, "Even it is the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and if I lose everything, I don't care, but I would fulfill my promise." Shukracharya didn't stop there. Shukracharya thought then he will also lose everything, and Bali Maharaj will lose entire kingdom and all the demons, and they will be homeless and they will be scattered. So Shukracharya went ahead, and he became so small, and he actually made a block in the funnel, in the what is called the funnel, the water come out that funnel, and he put a block there, and he went inside and stopped the water coming through that funnel. So Vamanadev understood what is happening. Water is not coming. Vamanadev took a small grass and put it through the hole of the pot. And this time it hit on the one eye of Shukracharya, and it's actually broke. And it injured the eyes, and the blood started to come out. And this time Shukracharya came out, and Shukracharya then cursed the Bali Maharaj that you will lose everything. The Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in the purport of, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that when the Supreme Lord before us, and when somebody is obstructing to perform loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, even if he is a guru, we can reject that guru. So the real guru always support, always encourage, and always give the directions and instructions to perform loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, the Lord. Knowingly and understanding that this is Supreme Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, and even obstructing the performing the loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, that guru, even one has to reject such guru, and Bali Maharaj did that. Bali Maharaj rejected Shukracharya and went ahead with his promise and poured the water and took the promise. And this is the time Lord Vamanadev now started to show his original form. He started to grow like anything. He started to grow and grow and grow and grow like a gigantic form. Nobody can even imagine that such a gigantic form he completely covered. With his first step, Lord Vamanadev completely covered the entire earth. There is not even a single place, piece of place that didn't cover. Lord Vamanadev expanded himself, and he put his first step on the earth, completely covered the earth. And this is called Trivikrama. Lord Vamanadev's another name is called Trivikrama. That means Vikrama means his extraordinary activities. Vikrama. Trivikrama, in all three worlds, he expanded himself. So with his feet, he covered the upper planetary system like Bhuvarlok. With his thigh, he covered the entire heavenly planets. With his waist, he indeed completely covered Maharloka. And then with his neck, completely Tapaloka, Maharloka. And then with his lotus face, completely covered the Satyaloka. So there is nothing left. So he the Supreme Lord extended his lotus feet up to the Satya Yoga, and this is where beyond that the sun and the moon, an entire planet is extended up to that, the Viraja river, where the boundary is there. And there is a boundary between the spiritual world and the material world, and the boundary is covered. And then by the nail of the Trivikrama or the Vamanadev, and it's made a hole into the spiritual realm. And we know that in the spiritual realm, Mother Ganges is flowing. And Mother Ganges also wanted to come down to the earth. So this is the moment. Mother Ganges also came down to the earth. And that's why also this Bhadrapada is very auspicious. And then made a hole, and Mother Ganges touched the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That's why even if one takes the bath in the Ganges water, because of the water touched by the lotus nail and the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and one can eradicate all his sinful reactions, one who takes the bath in the Ganges water. And all his karma, all his papa is actually eradicated. Just takes the bath because of it touches by the whole lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And it is mentioned that, dear devotees, the holy name is Supreme Lord himself. One who comes in contact with the Supreme Lord himself is all sins, everything will be eradicated. He will attain the supreme abode. And this is mentioned in the scriptures. So one who takes the bath in the holy name, dear devotees, he is the greatest and fortunate person in this world. Just by touching the Ganges water, one can eradicate the sin. Then think about that whole life. One is devoted to the holy name and the Supreme Lord. You will definitely attain the abode of the Supreme Lord. You will go back to God. So then here, through that hole, Mother Ganges And Mother Ganges in the spiritual realm, Mother Ganges' name is known as Devakulya. Devakulya always serves the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And then Mother Ganges came down to the spiritual, the boundary into the hall which Trivikrama Lord, created. And then Lord came and flowed down to the heavenly planets known as Mandagini. And from there, Lord fall down to the hair of the Lord Shiva. That's called Ganges or Ganga, right? The Ganga that which fall on the hair of Lord Shiva, because of if Ganges water falls down directly on the earth cannot sustain, cannot hold it. Lord Shiva could hold it. Then from there, the falls down to the earth. That's Mother Ganges known as, and we call it Ganga, Devi Ganga. And then also fall down to the Patala Loka. As we know that the story of Bhagirath, because of the prayatna, because of the tireless efforts of Bhagirath, and Mother Ganges also flows down to the Patala Loka known as Bhagirathi. So, Trivikrama, they made a hole in the spiritual realm, spiritual abode. So completely covered by the second steps of Lord Vamanadev, completely covered the entire, the universe. There is no place. So Lord Vamanadev smiled at the Bali Maharaj. Where should I put my third step? So it is mentioned that the scripture, one's own body and one's own head is actually is one's own. That means cannot claim anybody else. So Bali Maharaj understood this, knew this. Bali Maharaj showed his head to the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord put his third step on Bali Maharaj's head. And then Bali Maharaj went down to the subterranean planets called Patala Loka. So we know that on the earthly there are 6 planetary systems. Atala, Vitala, Talatala, Mahatala, Chutala, and Patala. These are the heavenly, hellish planetary system below the earth. And the Patala, the bottom planetary system is known as Patala. And Bali Maharaj surrendered everything unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Lord was so pleased. This way, the Lord reciprocated in such a way that Lord is so pleased by the offering of Bali Maharaj. As we know that when the 9 devotional services, Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, Pada Sevana, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam, Pada Sevana, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Surrender everything unto the Supreme Lord. That's what is Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj is the epitome or the predominant deity of that everything surrender unto the Supreme Lord is Bali Maharaj. That is surrender, Atma Nivedana, Sharanagati. So Supreme Lord is so pleased, Lord Vamanadev is so pleased, Lord Vamanadev promised that I would give you that the abode which is more opulent than Vaikuntha. This is the Padala Loka, the place of Bali Maharaj is known as, it is more opulent than Vaikuntha. Scriptures mention that. And then what Lord does, because Lord is so pleased and Lord took that position that become a gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj. The devotees, this is the reason, this is the Lord wanted to reciprocate the devotion of the devotee. So Lord became the gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj in the subterranean planets. And Bali Maharaj was hesitating that to receive service from the Lord. But Lord took that to serve Bali Maharaj because of the Bali Maharaj surrendered everything unto the Supreme Lord. So he is Bhakta Valsala, he is very dear to his devotees. He takes that position. The Supreme Lord took the position of charioteer for Arjuna because of Arjuna's Sakhiras. Arjuna was friendship with the Supreme Lord. Arjuna took that. Mother Devaki and Vasudev, Lord took as the position of a child and took and came down to the Vraj and took a position of the son of the Yashoda and Nanda Baba. Mother Yashoda was taking the stick and trying to beat Krishna. Lord took that position, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With the fear of Mother Yashoda, the Krishna is running. He enjoys it He loves it, this kinds of relishness and mellow the rasa. So he took that position of Valsalya because of Mother Devaki and Vasudev, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. They had this Valsalya rasa for the Krishna. They served. They prayed to the Supreme Lord, please come as a, the son of the child of us. And we know that that's a Valsalya rasa. And then Dasiras, Hanumanji. Hanumanji became so much surrendered and servitude. Eternally, the Hanumanji became so surrendered in the servitorship. So the devotees, all we are trying to. Hare Krishna, can we put on mute? If somebody is speaking, can we please put on mute? The Supreme Lord is like that. As we know that, he surrendered himself to the gopis in the Premaras, Madhuriras. So the devotees, this is the Lord's nature. He is Bhakta Valsala, he is very dear to his devotees. So here, the Lord Vamanadev appeared in this way and in order to reciprocate his loving devotion to his devotees. So dear devotees, it's very important. And then understand and hear this. And on this auspicious day of this Ekadashi or Vamana Ekadashi, tomorrow is appearance day of, and we observe that. And on this day, we fast, we chant the holy name. We hear these pastimes of the Supreme Lord and engage in the loving devotional service. The devotees, Lord, reciprocate accordingly. So we went through this verse today, that we are in this material world. The moment we come into this material world consists of three modes. So yesterday was explaining about that. And then the moment we come into this material world, contact with this material world, we subject to this, goes through these three modes of material nature, or we tied with guna. Krishna says that, right? Guna karma vibhagasya. Guna, the quality, the nature. So we are all tied to this nature with this guna, or this guna is known as a rope. So we are all tied to this nature with this rope. And how we are tied to that? So when we have this material desires, Asha Pasha Stadeir Badher. It says in the 16th chapter, Asha Pasha. With this desires of the material desires, this is actually tied to us with this various, in this material nature, in this material world, or we tied or entangled, we clutched, and so many ways that we tied to this in three qualities. So basically, all living entities in this world is actually the permutation and the combination of these three qualities, like the permutation combination, like 3 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3, like that. So there are so many ways that we can explain that how a person goes through these three qualities. So there was an example like this. There was a story. A guru had two students, Shishya, disciples. Their name were like Chaitran and Maitran. So this guru, these two Shishyas were studying under this guru. And then they were, studying in such a way that guru could understand that who is in which quality, basically. So guru had very much, support, encouraging or happy with the quality of Maitran. And then Chaitran had a little, inertia, that little inertia that why the Lord is always, why the Guru is actually, always happy with Maitran. Whatever Maitran does is, it makes happiness to the Guru, but when Chaitran does something, it's kind of opposite of that, what is the exact characteristics of a Maitran. So one day the classes are over. The Guru mentioned to the disciples that, okay, now this is the time you can give me the Guru Dakshina. So I would give you little paisa, the Anna, that time it is known as Anna, that I will give you this 25 cents, just for say, 25 cents I'll give you. So you do one thing, fill up your entire room with this 25 paisa, 25 anna, 25 cents. So Guru had a plan. So Guru gave this 25 cents to each Chaitran and Maitran. Guru said, fill your room with this 25, cents. So then Chaitran took this. Yeah, Guru said, fill my room with this 25 cents. Okay, let me go and find what I can fill in my room. So Chaitran went ahead and he saw that, that in the kingdom, there was a lot of trashes were somewhere, accumulated, some were collected in one corner of the place. And with the help of somebody, his another friend, he brought everything in his room and he filled everything in his room. And he just little few cents that he gave to the another person who helped, and remaining money that he just enjoyed himself. On the other hand, the Maitran understood that what Guru wanted from this, fill with this one. So Maitran went to a nearby store and he bought the ghee, little oil, a lamp, and an agarbatti, and he brought it in the room and he put the picture of Guru and the Lord, and he light the lamp with the oil, and it was a dark room. Now the entire room is now lightened up, and he lightened the agarbatti, and there is a fragrance. The entire room is filled with the beautiful, nice fragrance, and the entire room is filled with the light. And then now Guru came. Guru came and first went to the Chaitanya was so eager. Oh Guru, as per your instruction, I filled my room with all this. You will be so happy. So Guru went to Chaitanya's room and saw that so dirty and so much bad smell, so worst, and Guru ran away from there. He couldn't tolerate that what Chaitanya did. And on the other hand, Guru came to the room of Maitran, and as soon as he entered in the front side of the room, he could, smell the nice fragrance. And he was so happy, and he came inside the room and he saw that the entire room is filled with a nice light, which gives so much happiness and the bliss in his heart, a nice fragrance, and so the arena that which filled with the goodness, filled with the complete, auspiciousness. So this is what we can see here in this world that we all goes through. Even though in a family we can see that there are children in different qualities. Even the twins, they are different qualities. Even born with that equal this one, and they have unique personality and qualities because of these modes of nature. And they goes through. And then as soon as the moment they come, they contact with, they conditioned by these modes of nature. So as we know that there are three modes of nature, is called guna, or called sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna. The people, and then there is also sattva guna, these are all the modes of nature. The people, those who are in the mode of goodness, they are always clean and the pure, truthful, and they have knowledge. They have compassionate nature. They always engage in the good activities. On the other hand, those who are in the mode of passion, we can see in this world, they're aggressive. They are, so much attached to this world. They don't see good and bad. They are, they do things whimsically. They don't look at the scriptures. They do their own way, do things. All they are looking for the result of that action. Whatever I can get out of it, they don't think anything else. This is kind of people are known as the mode of passion. So much attachment, material attachment, aggressive. And the other hand, the mode of ignorance, the people, they don't know what they are doing even. They are lazy. They are, always in the mode of ignorance that they don't know what they're doing and they don't know what. So we can see that so many people here in this world, they don't know what they're doing in this world. All their intention is sleep, mate, eating, and defending. As Srila Prabhupada says, it's like an animal. So generally animals it comes into the modes of ignorance. So we are all going through this one. The only way that we can, then we have, Srila Prabhupada says, scripture says that Even if we are in the mode of goodness, the difference between that, we are actually tied with an gold chain. If the person is in the mode of ignorance, doesn't matter. The difference is that the person is tied with an iron chain. But still we are tied to this world, whether it's in the mode of goodness or in the passion or in the ignorance, or sattva guna, rajoguna, or tamo guna. We are tied to this world, and we go through this birth, death, old age, and diseases. Life after life depends upon our activities. So when we go through this, depends on our activities and the karma. Based on that, next lifetime is decides that which mode we are have to. But our life is not meant to be part of this world. Our life is meant to be part of transcend this mode. It's known as Shuddha Sattva. So when a person in the pure goodness, so when a person engages in the loving devotional service, engaged like hearing and chanting and Vandana, Dasi, all this devotional service, one who it doesn't tie to any mode. This is actually known as this transcends. So one can transcend this mode. It doesn't have any karma. It doesn't have any reactions. So all our karma, it's all any service that which we do with our body, mind, and words for the service of the Lord, which is beyond these modes of nature. Only by we once goes surpass these modes of nature or come to the platform of purity or pure. And that is comes to the soul level or Atman level. That's called transcend this nature. Only by one who transcends this nature can liberate himself. Otherwise, we are entangled by these modes of material nature. So it's very important we understand that and how we can transcend. The moment, like, Srila Prabhupada give an example, like an iron rod. When the iron rod, we put it in a fire. So we keep firing that the iron rod and then fire, the iron rod get the fire, and eventually after some time, the iron rod becomes same as the fire. So now we cannot distinguish what is the iron rod, which one is fire and iron rod, because its nature of that iron rod become completely like a fire. The moment we touch that iron rod, it also become burns. So like that, the moment we keep engaging ourselves into the spiritual realm or spiritual activities, loving devotional service under the Supreme, hearing, chanting, and offering, remembering and offering the homage unto the Supreme Lord, worship, and always conscious, that's why Srila Prabhupada put this Krishna conscious, we will also become and overcome these modes of nature and come to the pure transcendental platform. It's like an iron rod in the fire become a fire. Like that, we also become completely spiritual or pure. We transcend ourselves and come to the pure spiritual platform. And that is called complete liberation. And we go back to the Supreme Nature and Supreme Lord. And how we can do that? Yes, it's especially this, the month or Ekadashi and chanting and attending an association. By all this, now with the bhakti, then one can transcend these modes of nature, dear devotees. So that's the purpose of our life, not to be entangled, tied to this world with our material desires. So all our material desires dovetail. Yes, we may have desires for, many things, but what we have, eventually we have to dovetail all to please the Supreme Lord. Now we are all trying to please ourselves. That's why it depends on the modes of nature, goodness, passion, passion and ignorance. And it's the Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Atmendriya Priti Vancha Dhara Kama, that means our lust, our desire, material desires, that means Atmendriya Priti Vancha. That means we are trying to please ourselves, not Krishna. So then we try to fulfill our desires, then we come into this contact, so we get the different body accordingly. But Krishnendriya Priti Vancha Prema Dhara Prema Bole. Krishnendriya Priti Vancha. The moment we try to please the Krishna's Indriyas, Krishna, that is called loving devotional service or prema. Otherwise, Atmendriya Pradijana, anything that which we try to do ourselves, to please ourselves, that's what is 99% of the people does, just try to please themselves in so many ways. We are in the center. I am in the center, not Krishna is in the center. The moment we put Krishna is in the center and perform loving devotional service, that's called prema. Otherwise, everything else is called karma in this world. Lust, lusty desires, unwanted material desires. So then we, conditioned by these modes of nature, either goodness, passion, ignorance, we are in the center. But the moment we put ourselves and to please Krishna, and like hearing and chanting and engaging in the loving devotional service, then we purify ourselves, and by this process we are placing the senses indriyas of Krishna, Krishna indriya pridhivancha, Krishna indriya. So this way we can transcend our existence, and from the birth, death, old age, and diseases and suffering, entanglement, body from one body to another body, to the various species of life. Dear devotees, this is a solution, and this is the science, spiritual science. So by this process, engaging in the devotional service, dear devotees, we transcend ourselves, we attain our spiritual nature, and we directly enter into the Supreme Lord directly comes to take such devotees. Even Amaraj will come and take service from such devotees. So this is the nature of spiritual science and spirituality. So on this auspicious day, dear devotees, it is our great fortune that we remember, we meditate, we hear, we chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. This is the greatest fortune that we can have, that we have this opportunity by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Thank you so much for being here and part of this association Sangha. And Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So dear devotees, anything would like to add? Any questions, comments, concerns? Anybody would like to add anything? Please go ahead. Any reflections? Hare Krishna, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much. So any reflections? Any questions?
Prabhuji, I had one question. I know that several classes they have already told us, but why did why did Bali Maharaj, why did he disobey his Guru, Prabhuji? I have forgotten.
No worries, no problem. So naturally, Bali Maharaj was a devotee, because he was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. We know that how Prahlad Maharaj was worshipping the Supreme Lord. So Bali Maharaj was naturally a devotee. And then he was, from the beginning itself, Bali Maharaj was a devotee and worshipping the Supreme Lord. And by the loving devotion, so as we know that, right? It's in the Rupa Goswami says that, Ada Sri Krishna namadi na bhaved na indriya sevan mukhohi jikhvadu swayameva spuratyada. By the loving devotional service, naturally one can attain the devotional qualities. And then Lord reveals to him as well, and Lord reciprocate him to that. So devotion is the key. So Bali Maharaj was there since beginning. He was worshipping and performing sacrifices, charity, giving, respecting the Brahmanas, all those were there. So naturally, the secret, the confidential knowledge he already has it. What is the best? What a person supposed to do? Yes, being the clan of demons, Shukracharya was naturally their guru, spiritual master, and they were as a ethic that they were all taking the instructions and guidance from the guru, spiritual master. And even Shukracharya was also naturally belongs to the Deva. Shukracharya was not actually a demon. There is a conflict between Brihaspati and Shukracharya. Indra actually selected Devaguru Brihaspati as Devaguru, then Shukracharya didn't like it. Shukracharya then went down to the demoniac demons and he became the guru of demons. So Shukracharya also, he was a great, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that among the thinkers, I am Shukracharya. So Shukracharya was also a devotee of Lord Shiva as well. We know that story completely. So then here, because of that, Shukracharya had this little jealousy and enviousness with the Devas, and then, all those. And then really the Bali Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. So the moment Vamana Dev came before Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj understood, and Shukracharya mentioned this none other than the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then there is no other instructions greater than the Supreme Lord. Only devotees can understand this. For devotee, nothing else is important than the Supreme Lord, the instructions and the guidance and whatever it is. So only devotees understand that. So anybody comes in between and obstructing and telling that, oh, this is not right. The Supreme Lord is in front of Bali Maharaj. So then what else is more right than the instructions of the Supreme Lord? To fulfill the instructions of the Supreme Lord, fulfill the directions of the Supreme Lord, fulfill the will of the Supreme Lord is called devotional service. It's in the last chapter we learned that. What is knowledge? Krishna says that what is knowledge? Charity and selflessness, humility and pridelessness. All there are 21 items mentioned that in the 13th chapter. What is knowledge? And this is transcendental knowledge. So Bali Maharaj completely understood and convinced with that. And even the Lord is in front of the Bali Maharaj. Nothing can surpass that. And what is more important than to follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord? Even a guru come in, obstruct that one, then he is not a guru. And the guru also should support and show the path. That's a guru. Guru means acharya means one who follows. Acharya Sreshta ida acharya. Acharya Sreshta, he has to follow. So here Bali Maharaj saw that even Shukracharya says all, but he is not following. He is obstructing to attain the Supreme Lord. Bali Maharaj was so jubilant, so happy, and he was surrendered everything with happily. So that is why Shukracharya, as Bali Maharaj, rejected Shukracharya as a guru. And he cursed, Shukracharya cursed Bali Maharaj. You lose everything. Yes, he lost all material things. We attain complete spiritual benefit. So we may lose something in this world, but if we have the right path, right direction, and from the Guru and Srila Prabhupada many times, we have a lot of bogus gurus. When somebody, just for the sake of, for the status, they attain the Guru and they said, do this, do eat the meat, there is no problem. You can do this way, that way. This is all bogus things. So Shukracharya represents actually the wrong Guru in this world. So then one can reject such gurus, and whoever is actually shows the path to the Krishna is the real Guru. He should approach that Guru and then take shelter of that Guru and serve the Guru. Then he always shows the path how to see the Lord. And every guru's mission is to how one can attain the Supreme Lord. Here the Supreme Lord, just before the Bali Maharaj and his Shukracharya was opposing that. So how can he be a guru? So Bali Maharaj understood, and he always receives this transcendental knowledge by the devotion. So only devotees can understand this. So Shukracharya was not a devotee. So only devotees can understand this. So Bali Maharaj rejected Shukracharya as his guru. Is it explained, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I have heard it before, but I don't know if somehow I have a blackout or what. I don't know, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much asking such a wonderful, very powerful, profound question. Yeah, very important. Wonderful. Anybody else has anything to add? Any other questions?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, all good.
All good.
Prabhuji, I have one question. My family, they are not Krishna conscious. So, by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I am now Krishna conscious. So, Prabhuji, my family is doing now Ganesh Chaturthi Aarti, Ganesh Aarti. I am joining them in Aarti, Prabhuji. Now, I'm trying to understand, if I do Ganesh Aarti, what is this mode now? Is it mode of goodness or mode of ignorance or mode of passion? So, I'm just trying to understand this situation, Prabhuji.
Okay, wonderful question. I think there are so many confusions with this one, as we know that. So, first of all, let us understand who is Ganesha. In the Brahma Samhita, it is Lord Brahma. He even mentioned that. Basically, Ganesh is the grandson of Brahma. Shiva is actually manifested from Brahma. Brahma's son is, considered as Shiva, and Shiva's son is Ganesha. He's a grandson of Brahma. That Brahma is glorifying Ganesha in the Brahma Samhita. It says that at Pada Pallava Vinidaya Kumbha Donde Same Ganadhiraja. That means that Gana Adhiraja is considered as the foremost of all the Ganas. And he is actually always take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And it is also mentioned that Ganesha get the power, the strength, the potency to remove all the obstacles is from the Lord Narasimhadev. Because of Lord Ganesha always worship the lotus feet of the Lord Narasimhadev. So he is a foremost devotee. Think about that. That Ganesha is compiled this entire Srimad Mahabharata. Only Ganesha could do that. And there are so many instances that Lord Ganesha is actually completely in the worship of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So we have this wrong idea, wrong understanding some way or other that, one should not, yes, that is true that one should not exclusively worship as a demigod, but we should not disrespect them. We should respect them as a devotee. They are all devotees of the Lord. Lord Shiva is the foremost devotee of the Lord. And then think about that Ganesha also the devotee of the Lord. Just there was one time that Narada Dev was about to speak about the glories of the Supreme Lord. Ganesha was, heard at the last moment. By the enthusiasm, by the eagerness that Lord Ganesha wanted to hear, Narada Dev even came before Lord Ganesha and glorified the Supreme, and Lord Ganesha was so, happy. And this is the mood of Lord Ganesha in the worship of Supreme Lord. So, when a devotee worship Ganesha, even Srila Prabhupada mentioned that devotees wanted in the beginning. Those who are starting the Krishna consciousness, they can worship Ganesha because of, and the mood is different. That's what it is. So they are not worshipping that, okay, I need to remove all these obstacles, material obstacles in this my life. That's why generally people are worshiping for Ganesha. Okay, I'm making a car, getting a car. Okay, let me break the coconut so that car would be fine. The house would be fine. Ganesha Puja does it. So this is the rituals. And this is basically I saw that when we went there, some function was going. They were just keeping the Ganesha as there, just as to enhance the beauty of that pandal, enhance the beauty of that hall. They just put Ganesha and everybody putting the shoes just below that, the Ganesha. This is the way people treat, and that's not recommended. Generally, people are doing like that just for their material benefits. That is not recommended. So generally, if we have a mood of that worshipping Ganesha in that, please, Lord Ganesha, please remove my obstacles so that I can perform bhakti to the Supreme Lord. Please remove that obstacles. So in the beginning, a person does not know, those who are already in the mode of worshipping of Lord Shiva, Ganesha, Prabhupada said that they can continue that and pray to that Ganesha and say that, please engage me in the service of the Lord, remove the obstacles in the path of bhakti. So then when we progress, then we pray to the Lord Narasimhadev that, please, Bhakti Vikna Vinasana Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavani ki jai. That means in the path of bhakti, please remove all the obstacles of Bhakti Vikna Vinasana. That means, so that similarly, in the beginning, that one can worship in that mood. So when one worships in that mood, there is nothing wrong in it. It is transcendental. But in the worship, the Ganesha, one worship the Ganesha in the mood of that I get wealth, Sukha, Dukkha, Pradaido, Sambhati, Karavo, so many things in the chanting, right? Jai Ganesha, Ganesha, that song itself, that give me wealth, give me beauty, give me that, give me this, give me this, give me this. That is not recommended actually. Yes, but those who are in that mode, those who are not yet understood, they can continue worship. There is nothing wrong in it. Of course, there's nothing wrong in it. Those who are in that level of worship. It is, then the question is whether it is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. It's up to us what we are. If you are more asking that I need a car, wealth, and those, that is mode of passion. It's not goodness. So that I can enjoy without, so that I am in the center. Mode of goodness means, yes, I do the charity, I understand all this. At the same time, we put ourselves and the pure mode. So that as it says that the mode of goodness is next to the transcendental nature. Only one who reaches up to the mode of goodness, they can enter into the devotional service. Otherwise, they cannot enter into the devotional service because they are in the mode of passion. So one who worship in that way, there is also worship in three ways, right? Worship in the mode of goodness, worship in the mode of passion, worship in the mode of ignorance. Those who worship ghosts and goblins are all considered as in the mode of ignorance. And those who worship in the demigods, it's all, seeking for all these material benefits, it's all the mode of passion. Those who worship, even though, like Akama Sarvagama Mokshagama Udarati, Tivirana Bhakti Yogana de Purusham Param, that means with the desires, even though one who worship the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, Vishnu, and Vishnu Murti, that's the mode of goodness. So yes, this is mode of passion, but one who worship the Supreme Lord in the center and worship and do the arati with the desires that please remove all the obstacles in the path of bhakti, that is transcendental. That's goes beyond the modes of goodness. So this way we can see it. Is it clear? Is it explained?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very much detailed explanation. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your performance. Very nice. Okay. Anybody else would like to add anything? Hare Krishna. Any other reflections? Any questions? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining today. Today is a very auspicious day. Continue your fasting and focus on remembering the Lord's pastimes, especially Lord Vamanadev, Travarkrama, and what his pastimes. And it says that one worship the Lord Vamanadev in this mood, and even unto the Mahabodhini Ekadashi, that's the time the Kartik Lords come out from the Yoga Nidra, the transcendental sleep, and worship in this mode, and this way that we all can become purified and become more transcendental, and we can more closer to the transcendental nature. So please take this opportunity, whatever the way we can, and it helps, to purify our consciousness. So that's the purpose of all this, and thank you for joining today. And tomorrow, fast breaking time is, I think it's 6:36 to 6:29 to 10:46. So we have a little bit of time to break the fast. And also then continue in that mode of Vamanas, our Lord Vamana's appearance day, chant the holy name and be conscious of the Supreme Lord. This is the way, and many places celebrate the appearance. And then it is also considered as, once the fasting is over, there is a feasting. And according to the scripture, one has to take that feast. And in many places, it's a big feast, and especially in Kerala, it's known as Onam. Onam is, I think, all these different people changed the entire history of everything, and they changed everything. But in reality, it is a worship of the Supreme Lord Vamanadev, and the breaking the fasting with a great feast. And that's called Onam, and that is on Thursday, and everybody make a wonderful feast and offer to the Lord. And then they enjoy that feast, the prasadam, that's a great celebration in Kerala, especially Onam. And it's also, it is mentioned that this is the day that Bali Maharaj comes back to see his people. Bali Maharaj comes back to see his people, and everybody welcome Bali Maharaj, and with decorating their house and the homes with welcoming and bringing that auspiciousness, because of Bali Maharaj is a devotee of the Lord. So all these are history, and since time immemorial, it all happens. The modern age and the people, those who doesn't believe, then they interpret everything in their own way, and then changes history and all those things. But that doesn't mean that, the fact is fact, the truth is truth, history is history. And it was therefore since time immemorial, and the devotees, the people we celebrate and worship. It's not just as people always, it's not just a fictional one day. This was happened, this was there. Lord appears in due course of time, and the time, when the time of, appears and Lord comes down. So take this opportunity and engage in the remembering the Lord, conscious of the Supreme, and chanting and offering obeisances, lighting the diya at the home. At least chant in front of and offer the bhoga to the Lord. Lord will be so pleased, and this is all transcendental. This all goes beyond this material nature. It's all transcendental activities. So this way we can purify ourselves and we can come out from our selfish activities to Krishna-centric activities, and then Krishna is pleased with all our act of talking, remembering, chanting, and anything that we do. Krishna is in the center in that perspective. That's the purpose of all this. Bring Krishna in our life. He is happy to come. And I was hearing this, why Krishna has a three-band form. It's very beautiful to hear that. The moment Krishna took this three-band form, Tribhanga Bhom is that. If something is straight, like for an example, if something is straight, like a hundi box, right? We have a hole in it. If you put something straight line and then we can, put the finger, we can take it out if it is something straight. But if something is bent there, and once it is in, it's very difficult to come out. So Krishna took this form as Tribhanga Lalita, Tribhanga Bhom, because of the moment he enters in the heart. Now we cannot take it out. Because of Krishna is bent there, cannot straight away, it won't come out, it's stuck there. So it's beautiful to hear that, Krishna is like that. One who enters in the heart, then he won't leave at all. So that what we all need to do, dear devotees, we pray to Krishna that please, so we have to clean our heart in order to Krishna to come in and stay there. So all this process helps us to clean our heart. So then Krishna stays there, and one who enters in it, when he saw that it's clean, I can enter in there, and then Krishna never leaves, because of now he has a Tribhanga Bhom. He has a flute in his hand, his legs are bent, his hands are bent, and he'll be eternally there. And that is the, that's I was hearing this, it's so nice so I just revealed that. So thank you so much. Take up this opportunity, whatever the opportunities comes to us, take up that sincerely. So Lord is pleased, and Lord will come to our heart and stay there. Hare Krishna. So anything else? Okay. So we'll conclude with today's session. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavimda ki jai. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnavimda ki jai. Gaura Premanande.
Hari
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.